Musical Monday, Musical Monday. She won't wait around for long.
And with a wink, she was gone.
Musical Monday. Hello and welcome back to Musical Monday with Caleb, Zach, and Shae at ImprovBroadway. This is your first time tuning into Musical Monday. This is the show where we review the best musicals that no one's ever heard about. And today, if the musical is half as good as the title is clever, why, we're in for a treat. It's called With a Wink, She Was Gone.
This story takes place in the Wild West, starting off with a rootin' tootin' old-fashioned outlaw that, you know, everyone knew their name. Who's the guy that, like, Jimmy and the Sundance Kid?
Jimmy and the Sundance Kid. Billups and the Raindrop Crew.
Sonny, with the chance of thieving.
Grandma and her meatballs.
Alexander and the Mumpkins.
Oh, yeah, the Mumpkins were a scary bunch. So there's lots of crews floating around in the Old West.
Right, and it's like the John Mulaney bit where it's like they say their name after a robin.
Yeah.
After a good old thieving, because it's like the bigger the steal, the more impressive it is. And they want stories to be told about them.
Yeah, like, that's right, boys. Y'all were stolen by Hillbilly Chum and the Muslim boys. No, he didn't say that.
Not
that was taken out of the script.
Not that
it
at
was in the original
all.
cut. And everything.
That one got cut out real fast.
Yeah.
It was almost like, hey, maybe you've been listening to a Musical Monday clip where you hear muslin a lot, and it's been on the mind a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this particular musical follows one particular outlaw. She's a plucky upstart, but she hasn't quite figured out how to, rob banks yet.
Right.
Yeah,
What's her stamp going to be?
Yeah, and she's kind of figuring out, like, where in the gray morals am I? Like, how far this way? How far this way?
Yeah.
What stuff am I okay with? Am I going to steal from women and children or just old rich guys? That kind of stuff.
Right. Will she steal from children?
Yeah.
She's
What's
really
her
on the
thing?
fence.
Yeah.
Like,
Some thieves will, some won't.
Because there's two approaches. Like, you can steal a lot of money from banks all at once,
Right.
or you can slowly collect children's bits of coins
it's
and dollars.
a lot safer.
Yeah, and so, for a while, she was waiting for kids to lose their teeth, and then she would go underneath their pillow and steal their tooth fairy money.
And in the song, she's like, is that my thing? Am I the tooth fairy? But basically, what in this first song, this unnamed bandit, she hasn't named herself yet. She's basically doing a vision board of the type of criminal she'll be.
Yeah.
In this song called My Future Life of Crime.
I'm not your typical girl, don't want a dress that's floral. I want to contemplate my thievery and my stealing morals. Am I willing to rob a dying man's pants? Am I willing to steal a man's first marriage dance? Am I willing to pull the plug if that means a few extra dollars? Am I willing to fake a man's death with a single fire holler? I don't know where I stand, but I know where I lay down. I will not steal from children anymore. I'm a changed man, just a bunny without a Clyde. I wanna steal for a better life. I might be in middle class, but I'm aching for wealth that will last. I don't have a sob story. My life has been pretty boring. but maybe there's something more sinister inside this bunny without a Clyde.
Gorgeous and inspiring. You know, if I love an attribute about someone, it's someone who has the gumption to take a step forward, even if that step forward isn't as something that's objectively wrong. I appreciate that about someone. Sometimes I go to prisons and I just high five the inmates. I'm like, you made a wrong choice, but gall darn it if you didn't make a choice. And the greater crime is making no choice at all.
I don't care what your New Year's resolution is, as long as you do it. Don't be a wussy. If your New Year's resolution is to rob a bank, Chase or Wells Fargo, I would go with Chase because it's blue. It's a cooler color.
Yeah.
But if you do it, then I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you. You definitely deserve the consequences of your actions.
Sure.
But one of the consequences of that actions will be a thumb up from us.
Right. But
absolutely.
I think if you don't get caught... Who's Jesse, the criminal Jesse?
Jesse James?
Jesse James.
Jesse James?
Jesse and James from Pokemon Team Rocket.
Yeah.
No. But he stole from banks in the Wild West, and then he gave a lot of the money to his old school teacher.
So she could buy a house.
The sweetest thing.
Was he in love
Sweetest
with her?
robber.
Was he in love with her?
Oh.
Was it
The tour guide didn't tell us about that.
Dark turn to the story.
Quick fun story. Shae and I did a bus tour up in Salt Lake City. And it was with the sweetest performers you've ever seen. And they were like, they loved their job. But it was literally us and 6 other people on a trolley. And they were performing their hearts out, though we were giving them nothing at all. And they'd be like, oh, what's that? A time for a fiddle solo? Did someone ask for a fiddle solo?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, they also, almost everyone they pointed out on the tour was a man. And there was only one, really rich lady that they pointed out. And then they made her, such a bimbo. She was like, oh, I wonder how I got my wealth. It wasn't by killing my 7 husbands. Yeah. But everyone else, it was like, a respected young gentleman who worked his way to the top.
But and he was also talking about polygamists a lot. And he was like, I worked hard to feed my family. And the one industrial woman's like, I didn't sleep for my wealth.
Yeah.
I think the good thing is there, Zach, is they made that choice. You know?
did.
And they stuck with it.
And they stuck with it, and I'm proud of it.
They really seem to love that, because the guy also slipped a little. He's like, yeah, I was working at a bank for years, and they always told me I wasn't good enough, but now I get to be myself.
Look who's laughing now!
Which was cool. It's so cool he found a job he loves.
And it's wild that company exists and that they're employing people. I'm like, good for you.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that for them.
truly. It's so cool. There's a job for everybody.
There is. And especially for our protagonist.
Yes.
Whose name is, it always goes verb, name, the noun, right? That's normally how names go. So let's all say the verb at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
Groovin'.
Groovin'. Let's say the name. 1, 2, 3 time. Unipus.
Okay.
Groovin',
Unipus
Unipus.
spa.
The, and let's all say the noun together. 1, 2, 3.
Fort.
Fort. Groovin', Unipus, the fort.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And so this next song tells all about the story of how she earned her name, Unipus.
Oedipus was her given name from birth. But you mean the fort.
Right.
And why she was so groovy.
Nope, you're right. Her legal name was Groovin' Unipus the Fort. And now she's deciding what her actual thieving name is to
forgot
make
about
it
that.
really relevant for her story arc.
Yeah. So this is her first, we get to see her first big job.
Yes.
She's like, I'm going to do a crime. I
Yeah.
don't know what it's going to be, but I'm going to the big city and I'm going to crime it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she finds out that her mom misread Oedipus, and that was what her name was supposed to be.
Yes.
So she goes with her nickname, Thievin' Oedipus.
and she says, my mom always told me I was born in Grice. And she says that we worship a god named Zeus. And when we die, we all go to a place called Hades. And she was taught a whole bunch of misspelled Greek mythology.
Yeah,
which is just fun flavor text.
Right.
Yeah.
So what were you saying, Caleb? This is her what?
That's her first big job.
Her first big job.
Her first big crime that she's
That's
doing.
right. Mm-hmm. She's stealing from the local elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, when she said, I ain't stealing from kids no more.
She said, I'll steal from the people who are in charge of
I mean,
kids.
she's still from the school. She's still from the government, so that's cool.
She's stealing from the teachers. She's stealing from the principal, from the district. But she makes it known, I ain't stealing from the kids.
Right.
Although she does decide to steal the playground equipment, which seems like a little bit of a gray area. But, the kids don't have to pay for it.
Right. And she thinks the teachers play on that as well. So it's not...
she never went to a real school.
Her mom taught her all sorts of messed up stuff. So this is like an old Johnny Cash song where he's kind of like telling the adventure. The narrator speaks up.
The narrator, of like a folksy story, a hero's journey.
That's right.
Lots of fun descriptors.
Okay. It's I don't want to pigeonhole us too much, but it's
then
not unlike.
Let's leave it here.
Yep, that's right. All right. Whenever you're ready. Grooving Unipis 4 rolled up into town, set her eyes upon the learning grounds, pulled her pistol and pulled her knife, opened the gate to start her life of crime, and started a taking. Unipis swung for a while on the swing, went into the kindergarten class and took everything. Broke into the teacher's lounge, got the coffee cups, caught her eye in a mirror and said, I'm on the up and ups. Grabbed every macaroni art from the wall with a glint in her eye, said, this job will be remembered long after the day I die. Why do I steal from schools when these children need a learning? 'Cause what needs more than education than a criminal woman be earning? Old Unipis, the criminal of the century, robbed the school. But she, on her way out, found poor old Timmy Jones, who slept in the schoolhouse at night to warm old Jimmy's bones. See, Timmy was an orphan with no house to call his own. So, with his desk for a bed and chair for a pillow, made the old schoolhouse his bed. And so old Unipis said, young boy, leave this place behind, and won't you be the Bonnie, and I can be your Clyde. But not in a romantic way, no, more like a mother and a child. This is the story of how Unipis sort of adopted a child. They went from school to school. He was the face man, you see, unlocking the gate with his face full of glee. Then Unipis would go and sneak out into the back, stealing every rainbow color and every lunchtime snack. And they did this for years, until one night filled with tears, young Sir Jones asked, "Is there more to life than just stealing pencils? I look up to you, Unipus. Life could have been a stencil." So she took his hand and said, "By God's command, we'll do one more job together." A lot of time passed in that song, years and years and years. Quite the exposition.
What that song didn't say is that she's the reverse James. Wait, no, what's his name? Jimmy. Why can't I remember names? I hate this.
Jesse James.
Jesse J.
Jesse James.
He stole from the banks, gave to a school teacher. They stole from schools, gave it to the banks.
Yeah.
They
Because
said-
they needed a down payment.
Yeah.
And so they stole all this money.
The playwright
for
said,
payment.
like, I didn't want to put it right in the song because I wanted people to think she wasn't just like a pure villain, at least at that time.
Well, she's giving it to the banks because she was all messed up. Her mom, remember, taught her weird things.
Yes.
So she said, they're mistreated down at the banks.
Yeah, she taught her reverse Robin Hood of Robin Hood stealing from the poor and giving to the banks,
Yeah,
and she just thought that was so admirable.
Yeah, she grew up on the strict diet of more money, more problems. She
Yeah.
believes that thoroughly.
Thoroughly.
And her
Yeah.
mom was like, the banks, the wealthy are suffering.
And I can't remember, though, I just sang it. Was the boy's name Timmy Jones, Tommy Jones, or Billy Jones?
Timmy Jones.
Timmy Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Timmy kind of becomes like the voice of her conscience, you know? Just like, he went along with it for years and years because he was just a little orphan boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wanted a parent.
He did one, he just wanted a mom.
Right. Yeah. In a Bonnie and Clyde non-romantic situation.
A real maternal Bonnie and Clyde.
But the
Mommy
night,
and Clyde.
Yeah,
Mommy and Clyde.
Mommy and Clyde.
Mommy and child.
Yeah, they tried to do like a spin-off comedy buddy cop. They called it Mommy and Clyde, and it didn't really go extreme.
It crashed and burned, Caleb. You can be honest. It almost
was
shut
kinda
down
charming.
Broadway
It's
for a
kinda
year.
charming.
It's proof that money can't buy everything.
Yeah.
It can't buy a successful sitcom.
They got Emma Stone and Ian McKellen to do it. It was star-studded.
in their past lives.
Yes. Anyway, and so so she has made the bank so rich off of the and it's like you want to say it's like the taxpayer's dollar, but what's so crazy about it is the government wasn't even giving money to these schools. It was good teachers out of the goodness of their hearts growing crops, selling them to do it, and she was still stealing the money and giving it to the banks.
It's heartless.
Heartless.
But you know,
But also the stuff that you were talking about, she was stealing like macaroni art. And so, like bankers need that to live their day. They have to spend all day banking. Boring.
Maybe she was the good guy.
well, the cool thing is, so she gives all this money to the bank. The bank then uses that money to buy up a big chunk of the town.
Yeah.
And now they're threatening to knock down all the buildings. The school is right in the middle of
Yeah.
what
Yeah,
is
they
gonna
want to
get
turn the
knocked
town
down,
into
and
one big bank.
She has a change of heart. She realizes
Yes.
something bad has happened here, and I played a part in it, and I
Yeah.
have to stop it.
Yeah.
After here, she goes, maybe I've done something wrong.
Well, because she's realized that the bank is nefarious. All this time she thought she was helping the bank, the poor people of the bank. She took one look
Right.
at them with their pins attached to the tables. They're not even trusted with pins.
Yes.
And she's like, they need some sparkle in their life. But now they repay her by taking over the whole town.
And to tie it all together, the bank was called Zeus Bank, which she pronounced as ZS Bank. And she thought she was giving offerings to the gods. But in fact, they were just corrupt businessmen.
That's right.
And-
I always thought it was funny that they didn't explain that about the story until nearly the end. You're like,
very
oh,
end.
that's why she's giving money to the bank.
That would
of
have made a
course,
lot
she's
more
confused.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in this final song, they both decide to steal from the bank as Mommy and Clyde and give back the money to everyone equally, distributing it equally
Yes.
to the masses,
Yes. Workers.
as it should be.
As it should be.
The
We
Robin
should
Hood in the right way.
Yeah.
You should steal from banks and give to workers. You go up to someone in the street, say, "Do you work? This is for you."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a way better system. Yeah, and so like I can't remember. Is this their planning song? Is this their in the moment song? Is this there's lots of phases to it.
This is right when they think they're not going to make it. Mommy has been shot, and Clyde is, wondering if he should give up.
Yeah.
But they're like, no, let's keep going.
Yeah, it's a real. What is that movie where they get holed up at the Alamo or something like that? It's a famous cowboy movie. They get holed up. They know they're gonna die, and so they go with the blaze. I think it's The Deadly Seven, something like that.
I don't know.
It's just a Western reference.
John Wayne slapped a lot of women.
That's an important factoid.
Fun fact about my grandma: she
got slapped by John Wayne.
No, I wish.
So does she.
She watched so many John Wayne movies where like he slapped the woman and then like kissed her that my grandma, when she had a crush on a little kid, she slapped
Hold on,
his
rephrase
face.
that.
Huh?
When she was a little kid.
Yeah, when my grandma was a little kid.
When she was a child. You just said when my grandma had a crush on a little kid. I just want to help you rephrase that.
She was also a child.
A little kid.
Anyways, she slapped him, and then he was like, "Ow, why would you do that?" And
'cause
she
she's like,
lost her first love. She had to settle for Roland.
Oh no!
Just kidding.
So
They love each
they're
other.
in the vault. They've got the bags of money, but they're surrounded. Mommy's shot.
Mommy's shot.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what Clyde, he's abandoned his name Timmy, is thinking this might be the last conversation he ever has with his mom. And they're I think I remember correctly, they're like basically maybe she's telling him like go save yourself, and he's saying no, I'll stay with you.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Here we go. Mommy dearest, we're in a terrible spot. I'm so scared, Mommy, you're shot. I was just a little boy when you found me. You were more than just my crime partner, you're my family. So tell me, Mommy, what should I do? Should I run out of here or try to save you? I'm just a kid, I need to know. Mommy dearest, won't you please tell me where to go?
Son, I've just been shot in my patella. That means my knee, and I've got to tell ya, it doesn't matter what a bullet can do. A mommy will never abandon you. So lift me up and I'll hop on one foot. We'll steal from American first, a great bank with a great interest rate. But it doesn't matter, 'cause we're thieving them today.
We're gonna steal till we're dead. We're gonna steal till we're dead. We could save our lives, but we'll steal instead. We'll steal until we're dead.
But we're giving it to the poor, and by the poor we mean anyone in this local grocery store and anyone in the town. We've been stealing from elementary schools for too long.
I think I've got it worked out. I've got a plot that will be above the law, no doubt. Possession is 9/10 of the law, so if we put it in our contract, then it's ours by the law. We'll just say in a last will and testament, when we die our money goes to the poor. So let's go out in a blaze of glory, get shot, then the have-nots will have some more. We'll steal until we're dead. We'll steal until we're dead. Is it better to be shot in the stomach or head? We'll steal until we're dead. All right, Mama, let's go out with a blaze of glory.
We don't have to do this, son. We can just have that bank agent with slicked back hair. I'll distract him by saying, hey, I'd like to open a credit card. It'll take hours. Then you go out and take the money in the back.
Yes, banks can't resist a credit card application, even in a life and death situation.
It'll cost me more in my payments over time than the money that we'll steal right now. Because I have no impulse control, boy.
You'll splend yourself into oblivion, selflessly like a saint. We will remember you as a legend. The world will never forget your name.
Stealing till we're dead.
And by stealing we mean credit card debt.
They'll steal
Until we're dead.
We'll rob them in the back, but they'll stab us in the back with credit card debt.
And so she did. She spent and spent and spent, and gave all her 2% cash back to the town. She spent herself into credit card oblivion, but the town was saved because she spent $80 trillion. The town was able to buy back the bank from the bank.
And old Timmy Jones / Clyde completely misunderstood her plan.
Dang it, as he is wont to do.
But somehow her bank payments went to the town. And it was a beautiful day on the dusty shores of the Wild West.
And Timmy, tired of this town, of the confusing life he had, looked back his shoulder, but with a wink, she was gone. The end. What a tale. What a beautiful tale of the lengths a mother will go to protect and really solve the problem she caused after a life of misunderstood crime.
Who could blame her?
Who could blame her? Not me. Who am I to judge? And who are you to judge of what old groovin' Unipis Fort does with her life? Because can't we all see ourselves a little bit in that old outlaw? Anyways, thanks for watching here on